Hi there guys, welcome back, and today we're doing the next part for what if Krillin told Chi-Chi about her husband's death and her son's kidnapping. Now, last time I left off with a bit of an error and I just want to fix it now while I have the chance. Now, I had a bit of an issue when it came to my counting skills last fight, and as people should already know, my counting skills are equivalent of that of a small child. So when Goten went Super Saiyan 2, his power should have been 300 bill. Not 3 trill. I just happened to add too many zeros somewhere. However, I'm going to say he gets a small rage boost, and I'm going to put him up to about 500 bill, which would still take Cell by surprise, which would still make him cough up Android 18. And after everything that happened with this small little retcon I've just given you, everything else would go like normal. Now, we joined the group back a few days after the battle, with Cell being defeated. We see future Goten and future Trunks head back to their own time, saying goodbye to their new friends, and young Goten saying how he's happy that he got to meet him and wishes him the best of luck in saving his timeline. With the two Goten sharing a fist bump before they both head back. Now, the future timeline goes pretty easy, with Goten managing to kill his androids with a lot of ease, with future Trunks helping out a little bit. And after this, they begin to rebuild their timeline. They also deal with Cell whenever he shows up, and both continue their training, living a bit more of a normal life. Now, back in our timeline, a lot of things here are going smoothly, with the likes of Goku, Goten and Gohan all unlocking the Super Saiyan 2 form after training to unlock it, with Goten getting it first, followed by Goku, then Gohan. Now, like normal, Gohan stops training. He begins to settle down a bit and begins to spend more time studying. He does continue to train a little bit thanks to his father being around, however, it's not loads. Now, on the other side of this scale is Goten and Goku, who spend loads of time together. They train with each other a lot, and this causes the father and son to become very close. Now, like normal, Android 18 and Krillin still get together during this time, and they still have Marin. However, during this time, Krillin does continue to train still. Thanks to the fact he has a rivalry with Piccolo, this means he and Piccolo spend some time training with Yamcha in his gravity chamber, and Yamcha also keeps up training here. Thanks to the fact he has the gravity chamber at hand, he can do some baseball practice and still get a good workout from it, so it all works out well for him. So these three do continue to train together here. However, the humans don't train as much as the likes of Piccolo, who is actually often found around Capsule Corp doing training in the gravity chamber. He knows it's one of the best ways he can train at the moment, so he uses it. Now, thanks to Piccolo being there so much, the likes of Kid Trunks actually develop sort of a fondness to the Namekian, and soon Piccolo begins to teach Kid Trunks much like he did to Gohan. And because this Kid Trunks is a full-blooded human, he doesn't grow as fast as he would in canon. However, he does get quite strong thanks to the training Piccolo puts him through. However, I see this Trunks taking more of an interest in science in canon, and maybe a little bit of sports, a bit like his father and mother. After all, he lacks the Saiyan genes to make him want to grow massively strong, but he still finds martial arts interesting. After all, his father does it, and most of the people he sees around his house do it, so, he still takes some interest in martial arts. Now, after the 7 years of peace, everything with Gohan and Videl still goes how it did. Keep in mind, Mr. Satan here probably took all the credit for the victory over Cell, much like he did in canon. And Videl still finds out about Gohan being the Great Saiyaman, and they begin to train for the tournament, with Gohan's whole family teaching Videl some stuff, making the girl grow a lot stronger, with the likes of Chi-Chi actually sort of teaching Videl her fighting style. And once the group hear about the tournament coming up, Goku gives a call out to all of his friends, and they all decide to take part in this tournament for old time's sake. On the day of the tournament, everyone has a lot of time to catch up, and everyone's really happy to see one another again. With Goten winning the Kids Division tournament with ease, him and Kid Trunks had a fun final round. However, Goten didn't really have to try too hard. And in the Adult Division, Tien and Yamcha are swapping out for Vegeta and Pintar, with Yamcha replacing Pintar and Tien replacing Vegeta. Now, The matchups are going to keep the same just for simplicity, with the first round being Yamcha versus Krillin, with Krillin winning this thanks to being a bit stronger. This next matchup between Piccolo and the Supreme Kai goes pretty much how it did in canon. Even though Piccolo is stronger, has access to the Kaioken, and all of this stuff, Piccolo still thinks to pull out, respecting the Kais. Next up, following this match, is Videl versus Spopovich, and thankfully, I believe Videl has the power to take down Spopovich, thanks to the fact that she is stronger here, and also because I can see Goku teaching her some key blasts, and also thanks to the fact she has a bit of a mixed match of Chi-Chi's martial arts fighting style, it does give her somewhat of an advantage, actually surprising her father when he sees her use a ki blast. Now, even though Videl won, she's still pretty banged up, nothing that would make anyone go mental, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was in canon. She's just got a few bruises and she's bleeding a little bit, but nothing bad. The next matchup following this is Gohan versus Kibito. Now, like normal in canon, the rules were set that no one should go Super Saiyan. Well, this was restricted to the Sun family anyway, and because Goten never went it here, Gohan doesn't need to, so Gohan goes into this fight and stays in his base form. The Sun family are trying not to remind everyone of the effects of the Cell games, and also they sort of just want to respect Hercule to some degree. Now, I would put Kibito and Gohan relatively close to one another, meaning this fight is quite close, with Kibito and Gohan having a good bit of a fight for a while. Keep in mind, Spopovich and Yamu don't want to really jump in right now until they see something incredible power-wise. So they sort of stand by, waiting to see something. And as the fight goes on for a little bit, the two fighters, being Gohan and Kibito, now begin to show off a bit more of their true power. And seeing that Gohan has a bit more energy in him, the Margins think now would be the best chance to jump him and steal his energy, with this going like normal. Now, the reason I would say they still went for Gohan, even when he didn't go Super Saiyan, is not fully likely they know what Super Saiyan is. I don't remember any panel or any dialogue being said that they knew that he could transform. When both Kibito and Gohan started taking the fight more seriously, showing off their true power, the Margins probably thought this was their strongest forms, so they took the energy of Gohan, who had a slight edge. Now, like I said, this goes pretty much like normal. Kibito then heals up Gohan after he had lost his energy, and now everyone is heading over to Babidi's ship, with the Supreme Kai filling everyone in. Keep in mind, the likes of Trunks and Android 18, Marin, all stay back. They don't want to get involved. However, Goten is coming along this time as well. Now, once they arrive at Babidi's ship and Gohan catches up with them, they still see Spopovich and Yamu get killed for energy, with Babidi realising they need a lot more energy than the two collected. After all, Gohan wasn't even in Super Saiyan. There is a lot of ground they need to make up right now. So the Bora knows the best idea is to bring everyone who's, up in the stands, watching them from a distance, down into the ship to absorb more energy. So, like normal, Deborah goes up to attack the group. He still kills Kibito like normal, who is probably a bit easier to kill here. He's very drained after his battle with Gohan. And like normal, he spits on both Krillin and Piccolo. Now, after watching this, everyone heads down into the lair of Babidi, with everyone learning that they need to kill Deborah to bring back their friends. So everyone pushes on into the base, with the likes of Goku, Goten and Gohan all playing rock, paper, scissors to see who fights who. Now, I was actually going to end this part here and ask everyone who wants, who to fight with one another. However, I realise this is only a 9-minute long video so far, so I'm going to push it out a little bit. Now, the winner of the rock, paper, scissors game is Goku, who gets to fight up against Pui Pui. And much like Vegeta, Goku takes Pui Pui down with a lot of ease, staying in base and knocking down the alien with no issues, not giving a lot of energy off. Next up is Yakon versus Goten, and much like his father, Goten has a bit of an issue at the beginning of the fight. After all, Yakon's got a really unique ability. However, after a few seconds, Goten comes up with the idea to end the fight as fast as possible. Does what his father did, feeding the monster until it explodes, making this round go pretty fast. However, Goten gave off quite a bit of energy here. Next up is Deborah versus Goten, and I see this fight as not being too tough for Gohan. After all, Gohan kept up with training here, so even though Deborah is stronger than Super Perfect Cell, from this timeline anyway, the group actually point out how strong Deborah is. I want everyone to remember in this timeline, Cell was weaker, meaning that Super Perfect Cell was weaker than this version of Deborah. So everyone is quite shocked at how strong, Deborah is. However, Gohan still beats down into the Demon King with his Super Saiyan form, with there being quite a big difference in power. Deborah falls at some point, dying, freeing everyone's friends outside, and Krillin and Piccolo do begin to rush down through the, ship, but it doesn't matter. Babidi is out of henchmen, and in a moment of panic he tries to control someone's mind, just, do anything. The person he goes for is Piccolo, but Piccolo's too good now. There's nothing in Piccolo to turn evil. He's out of options, really, and before he can even really nitpick at anyone else, everyone arrives in the room. With the Supreme Kai seeing what he's doing, decides to kill the creature, Babidi, and actually everyone takes a look at how full Boo's egg is, and they see it's not even halfway yet. It's a little bit off, but they see it's nearly not even close, really. Keep in mind, it got a lot less energy from Gohan, it got some energy off Goten, so it's not really been fed too much. The most energy it got was Deborah versus Gohan, and that wasn't too much either. And then, after this is done, Supreme Kai thanks everyone for their help, and is explaining what he's going to do with the egg, taking it back to his world to get it destroyed by someone. With him obviously meaning the likes of Beerus, someone like that. And he actually sort of shows a bit of sadness here, explaining how he's a bit upset about what happened to Kibito, with the group offering to bring back his friend with the Dragon Balls, and Shin obviously accepting this. After a few hours, not many, they bring back Kibito. The two Kais leave for the world of Kais, but before they leave, they actually ask if any of the Z fighters would be interested in training under them, with this invitation being meant more towards the likes of Goku, Goten and Gohan. The Sun family decline. Goku and Goten go on to explain how they would love to do it, however if they leave, they will definitely get screamed at by Chi-Chi, and right now that doesn't sound like a good idea to them. And Gohan explaining how he's actually trying to just settle down and finish school at the moment, and he's sort of interested in Videl at this point as well. Now, with this offer then being extended over to the Earthlings, all of the humans decline as well. All go on to explain how they sort of have things to do, with the likes of Krillin and Yamcha explaining how they want to be around for their kids and their wife, and Tien is beginning to think about opening up a dojo, so he wants to stay around so he can do that. This offer is now only left for Piccolo, who also declines, explaining how he would like to go much like Goku and Goten said, but he's got a student he wants to keep an eye on. Maybe another time he would go with them, but for now there's one person he wants to make sure continues to train. Now once this is said, the two Kais let out a bit of a sigh, as it would have been useful to have someone as strong as them around, but they inevitably do leave the planet. And this leaves Earth going into another time of peace. With no Buu around, everyone just sort of goes back to natural life. The likes of Goku, Goten begin to train, however Chi-Chi does start making them do some farm work, well, in Goku's case, and Goten has to start doing some schoolwork. So the time they spent training is shortened very small amount, and on the other side of the Sun family being Gohan, he actually got married to Videl during this time, and is beginning to live his dreamed life. He does keep up with a minor bit of training, but for now he is, quite content just living his life. Now, over with the humans, they also do continue to train. They just do little bits every now and again, and Piccolo begins to become the only one who really ever uses the gravity chamber anymore. Kid Trunks has begun to take a lot more interest in science, like I said. He still trains with Piccolo every now and again, but it's not as often as it used to be. Yamcha and Krillin will come and train for a few days a week, but other than that, Piccolo mostly just has the gravity chamber to himself, so he does spend a lot of time training. He also thinks how he should have probably accepted the offer the Kais gave him, and if he ever gets a chance to see them again, he will accept it. For the most part, this time of peace is very calm and tame. Everyone just sort of gets on with their life. However, 2 years have passed and everyone feels like it's time to meet up again. And you know what the perfect excuse for that is? Bulma's birthday. Now, I'm actually leaving it here. However, I think we'll be expecting a certain cat to show up during this time. And he's looking forward to it himself. But I do hope everyone enjoyed this part. I know I've not really done anything with the Boo Saga, but I just literally have no idea how Babidi could pull anything out here. It's not like there's a Vegeta around to mind control, and it's not even like he got a lot of energy from Gohan, who was sticking around in his base form. And I can also see the issue with doing power levels in the Boo Saga. It's a bit easier during the Cell Saga, but during the Boo Saga I can see the issues, and maybe for my next What If I won't be doing it for Boo Saga, but I'll probably give an idea of where everyone scales, and I'll give an idea of how everyone scales up in the next part. I hope everyone also doesn't mind the fact I've made Goten kind of strong here. He is probably the second strongest. But I just see it. He was interested in training near the start of his life and wanted to do it, so having Goku's influence around probably would help him continue training. So this is how I've seen everything going. But for the most part, I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope you have a great day or a good night, and I'll see you next time.